Dr. Fitzgerald. In this video, we want to discuss solving quadratic equations using completing the square. In this example of completing the square, though, we have a leading coefficient term. So this is different from the other. Leading coefficient, notice we have a 2x squared. So using completing the square with a leading coefficient. The very first thing to do when you have a leading coefficient is I need to get rid of the leading coefficient. So how do I do that? I need to divide everything by 2. Why did I choose 2? 2 because that is my leading coefficient. So whatever that coefficient is, I need to divide the whole entire equation by that number. My new equation becomes x squared plus 4x minus 15 over 2 equals 0. Now this problem looks very similar to the previous types that we've worked. So our next step now is to get the constant term to the other side of the equation. So I need to add 15 over 2, or 15 halves, to both sides. So now we have x squared plus 4x blank equals 15 halves and blank. So recall we're using those blanks as placeholders. So now let's figure out what goes in our placeholder. Recall we go up to the side, we take our b term. So our b term in this problem is 4. What is it that I want to do to the b term again? Recall we want to take half of it and square it. Recall, take half of it, then square it. So once again, when I take 4 divided by 2, we get the number 2, square it, we end up with 4. So 4 is that magical number that we need that's going to go in our placeholders. So I need to add 4 to both sides. Add 4 to both sides. And once again, where did the 4 come from? It came from our side work here. Now, we're almost done here. We have the hard part of the work done. This becomes a perfect square trinomial, so we know this is just something squared. We'll deal with what it is later. Then we'll come off over to the side. Recall 4, we have 5 halves plus 4, so we need to add the fractions, get a common denominator. So in this particular case, we can rewrite the 4 as 8 over 2. All right, 15 halves plus 8 over 2. All right, and so then now we have 15 halves plus 8 over 2 gives us a quantity of 23 over 2. 23 over 2. So now what do we have here? X squared plus 4x plus 4 really is simply the quantity x plus 2 quantity squared. So if I were to take x plus 2 and multiply by x plus 2, you get x squared plus 4x plus 4. So once again, let's write it down here. So we have our equation. X plus 2 quantity squared equals 23 over 2. So now let's go on and solve this. Let's finish that. Let's erase our side work so we have room to finish this problem. So once again, I have x squared, or x plus 2 quantity squared equals 23 halves. What do we do to both sides in this particular case? Recall we use the square root property, and I want to take the square root of both sides. When I take the square root of both sides, we have x plus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 23 over 2. One last step to solve this. We subtract both sides of our equation by 2, and our final answer becomes x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 23 over 2. And that's our final answer. So in this example, we solved a quadratic using the complete the square method, but the difference is we had a leading coefficient. Thank you.